Well, shalom, everybody. This here picture is what my son Abel had drawn for me. The backside looks like this. It was one big sheet there, and he drew it for this book that I had, Thy Black Holes in Thy Life. And of course, they come up missing. Even though it's got the IBSN number in the back, or ISBN number, I punch it in there and there's thousands of books. I thought when I bought it, the number there, that it would stay. Just for me, that's what you kind of think it would be, is personalized, but I guess it wasn't because I can't find it. They say, well, you get on the internet, everything is saved on there. Well, I can't find it. Anyway, this was featuring two different pertinent parabolics in short story format. Not Big Bang, but a big game theory, and all things are merely matters of the heart. There were two different stories I had in there that I gave the book away for free to anybody that was interested. So with that out the way, what I wanted to talk about today was dreams. I remember my first dreams, I was flying a lot, like Superman. I would take off, I'd run, and I'd jump, man. Well, on Lenox Avenue, Oneida, New York, we had this, it was a driveway that wasn't really with pebbles. It was more like little chunks of coal mixed with pebbles. And boy, I'd get up in the morning after flying all night, and I'd get out there in the driveway, and I'd run like crazy, and I'd jump. Ooh, pooh, boy, I'd hit the ground. I did that about 4 or 5 times. I wasn't the brightest young child, but I'm talking after different dreams, After each dream I did it, I thought that I could fly. Boy, it was that real. Then after that came this UFO dream that is so vivid in my mind. I was living in Durhamville, right on the banks of the Erie Canal at that time. And I was out in my dream, I was out in the yard under my mom's lilac trees, and I seen these beams coming down and a bunch of spaceships in the air. And mind you, at that time, there wasn't a whole lot about UFOs or anything else. We're talking back in the real early 60s. The television went off about 10 o'clock at night or something like that, I think it was. All you got was this big old screen with a Indian on there and circles and such. But anyway, the dream was that I was out underneath a lilac bush, and all of a sudden these beams came down, and there were these gray aliens and reptilians, and they just started going everywhere. And they had some device that they would aim it at whatever was a living mammal, and probably fish too, I don't know. But they would hit like a squirrel, and the meat would fall right off its bones. The skeleton would stand there and then fall down on top of the bones, so it was easy for them to scoop up the meat. And they was doing the same thing with human beings. And I remember I snuck out and I was going out back, and they had these devices where they were checking for heat, I guess. Well, as they were getting closer, I remember, that I'd run back in the house and I couldn't find my parents. I couldn't find anybody. And I woke up. I was terrified, man. I'll tell you, I've never forgot that. Another time was a lot of other times. They say that you hit the bottom of a cliff, you're supposed to die in your dreams. Well, I'll tell you, I've hit the bottom of the cliff many, many times. I've had Dracula chasing me. I've had Frankenstein and his bride chasing me, and the Wolfman and Mummy chasing me. And they always chase me off a cliff, man. And I fall and fall and fall and fall, and I'd hit those rocks. And I'd be laying there going, oh, 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 just look at me, man. Oh, look at me. And my arms were broke, my legs were broke. It was horrible. I was looking right at myself saying, oh, man, look at me. Then, of course, another vivid dream came up when I was probably about 9 years old, I guess. When I had the UFO dream, I was probably about 7 or 8, I'm thinking. But when I was about 9 years old, my best buddy Pete And I had other really great friends in those days. And I was in the dream preaching. I had the scriptures out and I'm just preaching away, and my friends were down there and other people I never seen, and there was a whole bunch of people. And my friend Pete got up and he came up with a big gun, a big pistol, and he shot me right between the eyes, and I hit the floor, man. Whack! I'm like, boy, that hurt. And I got up and I pulled a Kleenex out of my pocket and I started wiping all the brain that was coming out and the fluids. And I picked up the scriptures again and I started reading some more while I'm trying to wipe the brain that's coming out of me. And I just kept on, preaching, and I woke up from that one. But the one I wanted to tell you about was this one I had last night. I haven't had dreams that I remember for a long time, and in fact, until I started taking the supplements to start getting rid of the gunk out of my brain, especially while I sleep, I've started to have dreams again. Some that I don't remember too much of. Some don't make, they were just dreams. But this one last night was pretty interesting. I was walking around, and there were people everywhere. And I scratched my face and pulled my eyeball right out. It was my right eyeball. It fell right out. And I'm like, man. Well, I covered my eye, and I could still see everything, even better than I did with my eyeball. So I'm going up to people, and I'm saying, hey. I said, look at this, my eye fell out, man. I says, hey, tell me how, just stick up some fingers, I'll tell you how many you got. And they're looking at me like, get away, man, forget it, I'm not going to stick my fingers up in the air. I said, well, just point somewhere. Where you point, it'll show you that I can see. I can see, man, just point anywhere and I'll tell you what you're pointing at. And they're like, oh, get it. And now there was only a couple out of thousands and thousands of people out there. There were only a couple that came up and said, hey, man, let me try. So I covered my eye and they'd like put up 3 fingers. I said, hey, man, you got 3 fingers up. And, this went on and on, but I only got just a very few people that were even interested that I could see. Even though I had pulled my eyeball out, I could still see, and some wanted to see in the socket, make sure there wasn't any camera in there or anything, So anyway, that was my wild dream I had last night. Y'all have any dreams? I kind of figure that dream probably was telling me that no matter the efforts I'm putting out right now, just right now, I guess, people aren't interested in seeing. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But anyway, if y'all have any dreams, write them down, man, and share them with us. Let's see what kind of stuff we're doing. And I tell you, I've never dreamt of the kingdom. I never have. I've been in hell. I've been in all kinds of places, man. I mean, I've been in some scary places. I've been in some pretty decent places. One time I was in a dream where it was like out in a ghetto or something. I mean, there were these apartments that were really shaddily built, and it was in a great big building. And there were a whole bunch of believers in there, but there were non-believers as well. But I was gathering the believers, and we were going to go down and sing some psalms or something. And then I woke up there too. I don't know quite exactly what that was about, except for, Satan's mansions don't quite look the way people think they do right now. They see with their eyes instead of their heart. So that's why I guess they got big houses and everything else. And of course, when people die, you could tell the ones that were deprived the most a lot of times because they get the biggest tombstones, man. Couldn't do enough for them while they were living, had to be bitching and complaining and everything. But when they're dead, it's like their guilt starts coming out, kind of like on Christmas when people start handing out beforehand food and money and such, so that the homeless and the poor and the widows can have a meal for Christmas. They do the same for Easter and Thanksgiving. You know, instead of making sure people have food to eat every day, they like to do it that way. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that it's interesting. And I'll try not to bring as many videos because I know y'all got many more things to do. It's just I was inspired and had to bring them 3 the other day. I love y'all, and shalom.